Hello everyone, Mörgaes here, and did all of you know that Mr. Onion has 4 books? Yes, I'm not joking. Mr. Onion is currently writing his 4th book, and I decided to read that book. And just like every other book that Mr. Onion has written, this book is complete garbage. And this video right here is highly inspired by Strange Ions and Crimson's Roots book reviews. Yes, both of them read all 3 previous books that Mr. Onion has written, and I absolutely love their videos, and you should check them out if you haven't seen them yet. But I was actually not planning on making this video right here. I saw that Mr. Onion is currently working on his 4th book, and I was like, oh my god, I cannot wait until someone is going to make a book review. I want to watch it. But no one has made a book review yet, so I was like, oh, I cannot wait. And I decided to read this garbage book by myself. And I was like, disgusting. Ugh. And then I was like, wait a second. Now I have read this book, so why don't I just make a book review? And here I am, I'm gonna do it. Oh, yay. But the thing is, most of the people that have made book reviews about 0nision's 3 previous books, they have English as their native language. They are very good in English grammar, and also they read a lot of books, and they know a lot about books. And then comes the problem. Here I am with my bad English, very thick Icelandic accent, and also I don't read books. I absolutely hate books. I haven't read a book for many years, and here I am sitting going to review 0nision's book. So basically this video is just gonna be me yelling at Mr. Onion for no reason. But the saddest thing about this whole situation right here is that Mr. Onion, he is an English native speaker, and he has written like 3 books before, but still his English is somehow way worse than me, and he still knows less about books than me. So that's very sad, if I should be honest. Yes. Okay, so yeah, and also, if you don't know a lot about 0nision's books, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it, so you know what we are gonna dive into. So basically, Mr. Onion, he's a very bad writer. He is not very good in English grammar, and just the way he writes is very weird, and it often makes no freaking sense. And most importantly, all of his characters in his books are very freaking bad. They are very bad, and they're all the freaking same. All of the characters are all the same in all of the books, and that also includes this one. Oh my god. Okay, I will give you an example. So in the all previous 3 books, 0nision was the main character. Yes, it was just Mr. Onion, and it was usually just something that had happened in real life that was happening in the books, you know what I mean? And he was the strong main character that all of the girls were obsessed with. Yes, they just wanted to worship Mr. Onion. And yeah, and Mr. Onion, he was also a very strong guy, and he could buff all of the bad guys very easily. And then we have the women in 0nision's book. Like I said, all they do is worshipping Mr. Onion. And they're also very stupid and don't really have any brain and just want to please Mr. Onion. And most importantly, all of them have very bad daddy issues. And then we have the fathers, and the fathers are just bad, and they like nothing more than treating their kids very badly and causing the kids to have daddy issues. And then all of the other men, except Mr. Onion, they just love nothing more than treating women badly and just acting like pigs all the time. That's basically 0nision's characters in a nutshell. But there are actually a few differences between this book right here and all of the other 3 previous books. And the first difference is that this book is full of unfamily-friendly spicy scenes, if you know what I mean. Spicy scenes between a woman and a man. And all of the spicy scenes are in details. I will tell you more about it later, but oh my god, there's so many spicy scenes in this goddamn book. And also, what is different about this book and the other books is that this book actually doesn't have one main character like in all the previous books. Like I said, Mr. Onion was just the main character in all of the 3 previous books, but in this book there's like no one main character because there are like many different stories and different people in this book, so it was kind of tricky to find out who Mr. Onion was in this book, because of course Mr. Onion, he was going to insert himself in his brand new book like he does in all of the 3 previous books. So it was kind of hard at first to find out who Mr. Onion was, but in the end you will see who Mr. Onion is in this book. Very exciting, right? So yes, that's it. Now it's just time to start chapter 1, Sunlit Poop Town. Very nice chapter name, Mr. Onion. The bed was stripped of its blanket and top sheet. You could hear the floorboards aching under the weight of Jerry as he slammed his body into Olivia's aid. So, yes, the chapter just starts right in the middle of a spicy scene. I guess Mr. Onion was like, oh, I'm gonna start my book with a very spicy scene, yes, because that is probably going to make the readers want to see more. No? Okay, I want to stop reading this book right now, Mr. Onion. Disgusting. But yes, let's keep going. Now Mr. Onion is going to... Loki, komdu hingað. Loki, komdu. Loki. I want him to be in frame. Loki, komdu hingað. Já. Ok, duglegur, wow, okay. So, now Mr. Onion is going to introduce us to the characters. Very nice. Jerry, a balding, curly-haired, black-mustached Italian man weighing about 250 pounds. And I have a small question for you, Mr. Onion. Why on earth is this man Italian? Seriously, I wanna know. First of all, his name is Jerry, and Jerry is not an Italian name, okay? According to Google. I decided to Google if Jerry was an Italian name, and no, it's not. The Italian version of Jerry is actually Girolamo, not Jerry. Jerry is a super duper American sounding name. And I don't know why, but this bothers me so much that Mr. Onion is just calling random people Italian. That makes no sense. You cannot just call people Italian. And also what bothers me is that Mr. Onion does not say if he has an American accent or Italian accent. You know what I mean? Like, he's Italian, but he has an American name. So let's say if Jerry is saying, how are you? Should I imagine, hey, how are you? Or should I imagine, how are you? I don't know. Mr. Onion doesn't tell us. He doesn't tell us anything with the accent. But later in this chapter, something happens. And I think that moment that will happen soon, that is the reason why Mr. Onion decided that Jerry is Italian. Here we have Jerry that is balding, curly-haired, black mustache, Italian, and he's weighing about 250 pounds. And also, Mr. Jerry here, he lives in a trailer park. Yes, so he's living in a trailer right now. And this man is also very messy guy. Like, his whole trailer on the inside is a complete mess. And Jerry likes nothing more than having like Cheeto dust on his finger, you know what I mean? So he's a very messy guy, everything is very disgusting around him. And then we have Olivia right here. And Olivia, she is 23, tight abs, blonde hair. All of a sudden I want to change my hair color to brown. Yeah, blonde hair, she... Jesus Christ, Mr. Onion, that was unfamily friendly. Disgusting! And also, very importantly, Olivia has daddy issues. Yes, Miss Olivia right here, she has very bad daddy issues. And I want all of you to remember that and keep that in mind, because 0nision is only gonna tell us once that Olivia has daddy issues, okay? So you cannot forget that Olivia has daddy issues, okay? He's only gonna say it once, not more. Just kidding! Mr. Onion tells us like 1,000 million times in one chapter that Olivia has daddy issues. Seriously, he's always mentioning that Olivia has daddy issues, because that's like her whole personality, and that is that she has daddy issues. That's it. That's the only interesting part about Olivia, and that is she has very bad daddy issues. You know, you will see it very soon that Mr. Onion, he's gonna tell us 1 billion skrillion times that Olivia has daddy issues. I get it, 0nision! Olivia has once again found herself freaking a man that for his age could very well be her father's best friend. if she ever knew who her father was. Wow, that was sad. Very sad. F in chat for Olivia. Super duper sad. But now you know a little bit more about the characters in this book, and like you saw in the beginning of the chapter starts with a spicy scene between Jerry and Olivia. And the thing is, the whole first page is just a very detailed spicy scene between Olivia and Jerry. And now I'm gonna explain to you, as family friendly as I can, how all of the unfamily friendly spicy scenes are in 0nision's book. Because there's going to be a lot of spicy scenes in this book. Ton of them. And the thing is, all of the spicy scenes are the same. Seriously, they're all the freaking same. All of them. Even though they're like different people having the spicy. It's still all the same, literally. Like, 0nision just... all of the spicy scenes are just exactly the same. That's why I'm only gonna explain this once, how they're like, because they're all the same. So, it's pretty obvious that Mr. Onion really enjoys watching adult videos on the internet. And not only that, but he really likes the adult videos where the woman is submissive, very stupid, and does nothing else than pleasuring the man that she's doing the spicy with. Meanwhile, the man is very aggressive to her, hurting her, spitting on her, cursing her, calling her very insulting names, and just doing whatever he wants to her, and just treating her like an object during the spicy. Do you know what kind of videos I'm talking about? Like, very violent and graphic, and yes, that's basically how all of the spicy scenes are like. If I would not know how old Mr. Onion is, I would think that this was written by a 16-year-old kid that has never done the spicy in real life and has only watched like very violent videos about how spicy works. You know what I mean? But yeah. So I hope I'm explaining this well, but I don't want to go in more graphics because I want this video to be family friendly, so I don't want to talk more about that. But again, I'm gonna tell you, all of the spicy scenes in the book are very, very, very detailed. Very detailed! You don't know how often I had to put holy water in my eyes. So many times, so many freaking times, because there are so many spicy scenes in this book. Oh my god, this is torture. So like I said, the first whole page is just a very long spicy scene, and very detailed one. Okay, and then when Olivia and Jerry are finally done doing the spicy together, Jerry, he lies on Olivia and kind of like crushes her. So she takes his hand and she bites Jerry like in the hand. And Jerry says, "Why would you do that? Bad B word." But of course, here's the problem. I have no idea if Jerry is yelling this in American accent like, "Why would you do that?" Or, "Why would you do that?" I have no idea. Mr. Onion hasn't told us anything about his accent. I don't know how he's talking. Olivia stands up and she runs to the bathroom and she's feeling very horrible about herself. She's like, "Why am I like this? Why am I with this man?" She's just feeling super duper bad about herself. And then Mr. Onion, he decides to explain to us how Jerry's room looks like. And he says this: Jerry's whole room was a discombobulated mess. Wait a second. So Jerry's room is a mess, right? Oh my god, I figured something out. Like all of you know, Jerry, he lives in a trailer park, right? Yes. And also, Jerry is balding, and he has curly hair, and he is weighing about 250 pounds, and according to Mr. Onion, that is not very desirable characteristics, right? And also, he likes to have Cheeto dust on his fingertips, and he doesn't wash his hands. So, I'm starting to have the feeling that Jerry's messy room is a metaphor for his life. It was the living physical metaphor for his own life. You don't have to tell us, Mr. Onion, if something is a metaphor! Oh my god, are you being serious? Like, I don't read books and I don't like reading books, but even I know that you don't have to tell the reader if something is a metaphor. It's kind of obvious that, Jerry is a messy person and his life is kind of messy. You don't have to be like, oh, Jerry's messy room is a metaphor for his life. Oh, really, Mr. Onion? Oh my god, I would never know. Allt í lagi. Oh my god, fyrirgeðu. Yeah, allt í lagi. Ég skal hætta að öskra. Sorry for speaking ice cream. My doggo gets nervous when I yell. I need to give him some doggo snack. Wait. Gjörðu svo vel. Duglegur, wow. Oh my god, hi Neda. Oh my god, there's an animal party in my room. Look, my cat is here. Hi Neda. Hvað segirðu Neda? Æ. Yes. Okay, let's keep going. So Olivia ran to the bathroom and she's feeling very bad in the bathroom, crying and feeling just very bad about herself. And then Mr. Onion thinks that this is the perfect time that he tells us, the readers, how Jerry and Olivia met. Let's read that right now. Jerry and Olivia had crossed paths when he spicily harassed her a couple months before as he stood at his job holding a stop-slow sign at the construction project he was assigned to. She had walked by him in a tight pants and he could... Oh, I hate this so much. In tight pants and he couldn't help it but yell at her, begging to freak Olivia. Wow, what a love story. Wow, oh my god, Mr. Onion, this is exactly how us women are like. Oh my god, you as a male author, you are so good at putting yourself in women's step and like understand how we think, because we love nothing more than when men are yelling at us like this, very insulting. We love it. You know what, if a man would yell at me like this when I was walking outside, I would turn to him and be like, oh my god, I wanna marry this guy. You know? Jerry hit the jackpot with this gorgeous 5'3" knockout woman who always had an empty black hole where her dad never was, and she finally decided to fill it with Jerry. Oh my god, she has daddy issues! Why didn't you tell us earlier, Mr. Onion? I had no idea. Oh my god, she has daddy issues? That's so sad. Oh my god, very effing chat. Okay, and now we know how they met. And then Olivia leaves the bathroom and she goes to sleep. And then the next day she wakes up and the whole room smells like pee and poop. And she's like, ugh, disgusting. Why does the room smell like this? And then she goes to check on Jerry that is still lying in bed. And he's dead. Yes, I'm not joking. Jerry, for some weird reason, is just dead. He's just lying there completely yeeted in bed. Why? I have no idea. Literally, I have no freaking idea why he is all of a sudden yeeted. And it seems like Jerry died while he was sleeping. But for some weird reason, when Olivia saw him, his eyes were open, which makes no sense, Mr. Onion. Like, if he got yeeted while he was sleeping, why did his eyes all of a sudden open? Was it like this? He was sleeping like this. Then all of a sudden he got yeeted and he was like, that makes no sense, Mr. Onion. Seriously, makes no sense. So yeah, and of course, when this very dramatic moment happened, that, Olivia found Jerry completely heated in the bed, Mr. Onion thought it would be a great idea to mention that Olivia has daddy issues, because he hasn't told us before, so this is the perfect opportunity to do that. The closer Olivia got to Jerry's room, the stronger the smell of poop and pee became. The scent she didn't remember from the night before, as Jerry hadn't decided to pee on her face this time as he had so many times before. It was just another kink he had that she put up with to fill the crippling void that grew within herself every day she lived without a stable father figure in her life. Jesus Christ, Mr. Onion. So, basically, Jerry, he just got yeeted while he was sleeping, and Onision thought this was the perfect time to mention, like, for the third time in this one chapter, that Olivia had... Couldn't you, like, wait to mention that again? Like, when the moment wasn't so dramatic and so freaking, like, traumatizing for Olivia, Olivia was the last freak of a freshly deceased man. Jerry was gone. This is only page 2 of chapter 1 and the whole book is just going to get worse. I'm not joking. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Honk, 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 honk. Like, what? Oh, Jesus Christ. Onision, you're a clown. Okay, let's keep going. Okay. Then the police arrives to the trailer where Olivia and Jerry live in. And they just ask Olivia some questions about Jerry, like blah, 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 blah. Okay, and then Olivia leaves the trailer. And it seems like Mr. Onion was in a very big joke humor mood when he was writing this part, because there are so many funny jokes that are gonna happen right now. Let's read, okay? And then Olivia decided to leave the trailer, and on her way out of the trailer, now better identified as Jerry's coffin. Wow, what a good joke, Mr. Onion. I get it, because Jerry, he's lying in bed completely heated. So now his house is a coffin because he's lying in there. Oh my God, this is so funny. Loki, don't you think this was super duper funny? Oh my God, so funny, Mr. Onion. Oh my God, so funny. I love this joke. Okay, that's not it. There's gonna be one more very funny joke coming very soon. Okay, so Olivia left the trailer, better identified as Jerry's coffin. And then Olivia looked around the trailer park to see a little Native American boy playing in the street with his half-deflated basketball. Olivia stared. Nice grammar mistake, Mr. Onion. Olivia stared as the little boy of about 10 locked eyes with her. He smiled with a full-toothed grin, lifted his hand to block the sun from his eyes, and yelled, "Hey lady, did you kill Fatso Mario?" Oh my God! Greg, that was so funny! Oh my God, get it? Because Jerry was Italian and he had a mustache too, black one. So he's just exactly like Mario, you know, because he's Italian. Mamma mia! It's me, Mario! Oh my God, yeah. So, remember my rant earlier about Jerry being Italian? I think this joke is the only reason why Mr. Onion decided to have Jerry Italian. Hey lady, did you kill Fatso Mario? Olivia smirked slightly and replied without hesitation. He about to cut you at the waistline with my eyebrow scissors and lynch you with your intestines from your daddy's room, little boy. The native boy screamed in horror and tried to run back to his house, only to step on a half-deflated basketball, causing him to fall onto his face. So, this scene right here is very, very, very weird in my opinion, and also very unnecessary. I think the only reason for the scene that is happening right now is because Mr. Onion wanted to tell us the super funny joke, hilarious joke about Fatso Mario. Oh my God, I couldn't help it but laugh again when I'm talking about this joke. It's so funny, you know? Yeah, I think this scene is happening just because of this joke. So basically what is happening right now is that the boy falls down on his face and knocks all of his teeth out. And then his mother comes running from the trailer because she saw her son falling down. And here's the thing that I've noticed, and that is always when Mr. Onion wants us, the readers, to like dislike or like be disgusted by a character, he always says that they are plus-sized. Yes, like Jerry, he was plus-sized, and this mother, according to Mr. Onion, is obese. I noticed that. And this scene is super weird because now like the mother is trying to help the boy from the street, but on the same time Mr. Onion is like describing how beautiful Olivia's hair is like dancing in the wind. So it's like this. The mother runs to the boy and she's trying to help him. Meanwhile, Olivia's hair is dancing, beautiful blonde hair. And the mother is like calling for help, like help, get someone help my son. He lost his teeth. Olivia looked in the distance and the wind was blowing through her hair. The mother was trying to carry the son in the trailer, but the wind blew into Olivia's ears and the hair was dancing. And then, you know, Olivia goes into her car and drives away. Where did she go? No idea. And that's the end of chapter number 1. So now it's time for chapter number 2. And this chapter is called Broken and Cold. And this chapter is the most disturbing chapter out of all of the chapters in this book. Okay, so basically this chapter is about Olivia's childhood. Yes, and like you know, Olivia has very, very, very bad daddy issues. And this chapter is just in details about how her father treated her and her mother. And oh my god, it's freaking terrible and traumatizing. This is the only chapter that I actually did not read because it was so freaking gruesome. Absolutely disgusting. And there's one sentence that I want to read from this chapter. Olivia's father liked to keep his wife behind closed doors, afraid if she would ever spoke to the public, she would let it slip how he treated her. And I think this says a lot about this chapter, and I'm not gonna talk more about this chapter because this chapter is absolutely disgusting. But I'm gonna talk about how this chapter ends. Okay, so basically, the father of Olivia is hurting the mother very, very, very badly. I'm not gonna talk more about that. And while he is like in the middle of doing that, all of a sudden, a police officer burst through the door, and he is very big and strong. Like Mr. Onion mentioned it like 50 times that he is very tall and very strong, the police officer. And most importantly, the police officer has daddy issues. Yes, I'm not joking. And when he sees Olivia's father hurting the mother, he is like, my father used to do this to my mom too! And he just freaking buffs the dad! Like, he destroys the dad! And all of the other police officers that came with them are just looking at him like, God damn it! He is buffing that man. I mean, like, he has daddy issues, so it's okay, you know? And, okay, to be honest, Mr. Onion, I think, you know, this is not how police officers are like. They're not allowed to simply buff people, you know what I mean? You know, usually police officers, they just simply like take the, you know, the person that is doing the violence and just puts handcuff on them, you know? They're not like buffing them almost to death, but okay. So yeah, so this police officer is called Officer Kane. Yeah, and that's the end of chapter number 2. Chapter number 3. A little... Mr. Onion! This is not very family friendly of you! You're grounded! I'm gonna frick you till you I washed all of the holy water off my face with this holy cat. Mr. Onion starts the chapter with a very detailed spicy scene. And this spicy scene lasts for 1.5 chapters. Seriously, like a very detailed spicy scene for 1.5 chapter. And of course, just like every other spicy scene in this book, you know, like the woman is submissive, just pleasing her master. Oh, kawaii, yes, my master. Oh, senpai. So basically, the guy is just insulting her, hurting her, and just treating her like she is his toy. And that's how this spicy scene is like. Woo-hoo-hoo! And it lasts for 1.5 pages. Woo-hoo-hoo! Before we keep going, I'm gonna tell you more about their characters. Right here we have Justin. And Justin is a super duper rich guy that lives in a mansion, like a huge mansion. And the reason why he is so rich is because his father was an owner of a line of hotels. Yeah, so he was like running a hotel business. And then the father got yeeted somehow, I don't know how. Rest in peace, Justin's fathers. Yes, he got yeeted, and then Justin became the brand new owner of the line of the hotel. So now he is running the business. And Justin, he is a very hard-working guy when he is doing his job. But when Justin is at home in his huge mansion, he is very lazy. He wouldn't even pick up a sock from his own floor when he is at home. No. He is that lazy. And then we have Allison. And Allison is Justin's maid. And her only job should be to clean Justin's house. But she is having the spicy with Justin. Jesus Christ. But anyway, let's read a little bit about Allison right now. Allison was a high school dropout. She was 5'6", Latin, and had astonishing curves for a 24-year-old who had never had children. Okay, Mr. Onion. And there's one very, very, very unique thing about Allison, and that is she has one blue eye and one brown eye. Cool, right? Yeah, it's very cool. And some of you might be thinking, she must have heterochromia, which is a condition that makes one eye to be a different color than the other eye. No, you dumbass! It's very obvious that your IQ is like minus 500! Oh my god, you're such an idiot! Of course, Mr. Onion, he has IQ over 140. Did you know that? And he is also a fax machine. Yeah, I'm not joking. And, of course, a man as smart as Mr. Onion, he of course knows why a person has one blue eye and one brown eye. And the reason why Allison has one blue eye and one brown eye is because her father was German and her mother was Mexican. I'm not joking. And you know, if you would do your research and Google German person, of course you would see only pictures of blonde people with blue eyes, because all Germans look like that. And then if you Google Mexican person, you would see only people with dark hair and brown eyes, because all Mexicans look like that. And of course, when a blonde person with blue eyes has the spicy with a person with dark hair and brown eyes, of course the baby has one brown eye and one blue eye. No, Mr. Onion, Jesus Christ, Mr. Onion is just making up things left and right. Onision, you clown! Let's keep going. So, like all of you know, this chapter started with a very detailed and insulting spicy scene between Justin and Allison. And then finally, when they're done doing the spicy, Justin goes to the kitchen and makes himself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I'm not gonna lie, at this point when I read that, I was like, this is very like Gregorish. This character started to sound very much like Mr. Onion himself. But we will see. So Justin is eating his peanut butter and jelly sandwich, like, and then meanwhile, Allison is cleaning his room after they did the spicy together. And then when she is done, she goes to the kitchen and she is like, hi, Justin. Ooh, I just finished cleaning your room. Should I please you more? And Justin is like, no, Allison. You have done enough today. You can go home early. I will finish the rest. And then Allison drives home. Then this happens. Justin, alone in his gloomy manner, blissfully smiled. He had turned the old white man on the TV off to watch Spanish cartoons. Justin had not a worry in his world. And after I read this, I was even more positive that this character right here is actually Mr. Onion himself in this book. Because this guy is such a man-child, like, oh my god. And the thing is, like, it's okay to watch cartoons, that's fine. You can be any age and you can watch cartoons, you know, I don't care. But the thing is, Mr. Onion called something that was on the TV that was not a cartoon. He said, I turned the old white man off. Like, what kind of adult person calls something that is not a cartoon old white people? Like, this sounds like me when I was like 5 years old and my mom was watching the news and I was like, Mama, can you please turn the old people on the TV off? Please, Mama, I wanna watch cartoons. You know what I mean? This sounds like a freaking 5-year-old. After this chapter, I was starting to feel like Justin is actually Mr. Onion in this book. But we will see who Mr. Onion actually is in this book. Chapter number 4. Good night, Olivia. So now 1 week has passed since Jerry got completely eaten, you know? Okay, so right now Olivia is wearing a very, very, very nice red dress. And she's going to go to her favorite restaurant when she wanted to meet men. And very importantly, Olivia has daddy issues. Olivia wore a push-up. This quest and family friendly, Mr. Onion. Olivia's former freakmate being eaten put a hole in her life. And she had a vacancy for the next acting daddy to fill. Yes, like if you didn't know, Olivia has daddy issues. But before we keep going, I just want to say, this chapter made me so freaking angry, like so angry, because like it's very obvious in this chapter that Olivia's only purpose in this book is to be treated badly by men and suffer from daddy issues. Because I feel like Mr. Onion, he gets some sort of joy from seeing women like Olivia suffer and being constantly treated badly by men, like constantly. But basically, let's start. Olivia, she's walking towards her favorite restaurant, and she noticed that there's a creepy old man standing like right in front of the restaurant, and he's standing there with his wife. And when Olivia like enters the restaurant, she noticed that the old creepy guy just keeps staring at her, and he's staring at her like very inappropriately. And then she just goes inside the restaurant and has a seat by herself. And she takes a look out of the window, and she noticed that the old man is arguing with his wife. And she can like hear that they're arguing about that he was staring at Olivia and the wife didn't like it that he was staring at her. And then like the wife like storms away, very angry, like goes somewhere. And the old man, he enters the restaurant and he sits down at the bar. And he keeps staring at Olivia like the whole time. And then, and then Olivia noticed that a very big and tall and strong man enters the restaurant with his girlfriend. And then she noticed, oh my god, this is Officer Kane, the man that saved her when she was just a small child from her father. And Officer Kane, he sits down at the table very close to her. And when she sees Officer Kane, like the man that saved her many years ago, she gets very emotional and sad, and just like she can't control her feelings, and she starts to cry. And I'm getting so mad, but okay. But so basically, Olivia, she gets very emotional and she starts to cry. And now Mr. Onion starts to explain in details how the tears slide down her face. So the tears start to slide down her cheeks, and then they like leak to her thighs, and then from the thighs they leak to her underwear and make them very moist. What? Excuse me, Mr. Onion! And of course, the old man noticed that her underwear are moist. And when he sees that, he stands up, walks to Olivia, and he starts to be very inappropriate to her, like very inappropriate to her. And of course he explains in details what he is saying to her and how he's like touching and something like this. And I'm not gonna tell you what happens because it's way too unfamily friendly and I don't want you to know it. But basically he's being like, are you moist for me? Or like he starts to say like this. He's like way more creepy than this. He's just extremely disgusting man. And this made me so freaking angry when I was reading this. Like, This is like angry honk at you, Mr. Onion. And then finally she punches the old guy in the face and he falls on the floor and somehow he like bites his tongue and the tongue like yeets out of his mouth and like flies across the restaurant somewhere. And yeah, and then Olivia starts to cry very much and she starts to get very upset and like, you know what I mean? And Officer Kane, the police officer that saved her, he noticed that something is going on at her table. And he stands up and he walks to her and he is like, hey, what happened? And Olivia is like, check the security cameras. And Officer Kane is like, okie dokie. And Officer Kane like walks to a waiter and he's like, hey, waiter, can I see the recording from the security cameras? And the waiter is like, okie dokie. And then Officer Kane noticed that another waiter is calling 911. And Officer Kane is like, stop, don't do it. And the waiter is like, what? And Officer Kane is like, I'm a cop. You don't have to call 911. I will take care of this. And the waiter is like, okie dokie, boop, hangs up. And then Officer Kane goes to the room that has like all the monitors, like from the security cameras, and he's like watching like the recording from when Olivia was like entering the restaurant and the old creepy guy was like staring at her, and then he's like watching the recording when what happened at the table, like with Olivia and the old guy, what happened between them, and he is like, oh my god, very interesting, oh my god, I will try to find them for you. And then Officer Kane is like, you look very familiar, and Olivia is like, yes, you too! And then Officer Kane is like, are you that kiddo I saved many years ago? And Olivia is like, yes, that's me! And then Officer Kane is like, okie dokie! And then, like, Olivia goes outside and sleeps in her car. And that's the end of this chapter! I just hate how Mr. Onion is making all of those bad things happen to Olivia just for his own amusement. Like, I absolutely hate it. For example, he's like making up things that cannot even happen. For example, the tears leaking down her cheeks to her thighs, then to her underwear, making them moist like this. This is so ridiculous. He's just making up things like, I like to see this happen to a woman, like, ugh. And also, what annoys me very much about this chapter is that how freaking unprofessional this police officer is. Like, Officer Kane, he's terribly unprofessional. Okay, basically, like, this old guy, he gets punched in the face, his tongue is like flying around the restaurant, and then he stands up the old man and like runs out the restaurant, and when a waiter is like calling 911, Officer Kane is like, no, you don't have to call 911, I'm here. Oh yeah, really, Officer Kane? What if this old guy that ran outside of the restaurant came back with a chainsaw and he was gonna yeet everyone that were in the restaurant? What then, Officer Kane? Seriously, it's always good to have a backup. The more police officers, the better, Mr. Onion! And also, after this, I started to have the feeling that Mr. Onion could actually be Officer Kane, because Officer Kane is always like saving the day, and he's always doing everything by himself. He doesn't need a backup, no. But on the same time, there wasn't anything like Onion-like about Officer Kane, you know what I mean? He wasn't very Gregorish. You know, it's like, it didn't feel very much like Mr. Onion, but yeah, but I was like, maybe this is him, but yeah. Okay, that's the end of this chapter, and now let's move on to the next chapter. Okay, so now it's time for chapter number 5, and this chapter is called Phone Call. Ooh, exciting. Who is gonna call who? Very exciting. Yes. Okay, so now, it has... 1 week has passed since the incident at the restaurant. You know, like Olivia throwing punches and tongues flying around. You know that incident at the restaurant. Yeah, 1 week has passed, and now we are at Officer Kane's home. Yeah, so Officer Kane is sitting in the sofa with his girlfriend that I have no idea what she is called. She's just a basic woman that has no personality, just like every other woman in 0nision's book. Nothing special about her. So yeah, Kane is sitting with his girlfriend in the sofa, and this is what is going on. Officer Kane and his girlfriend were watching Kane's favorite TV sitcom from the 80s. Yeah, you forgot a dot, Mr. Onion. Kane spoke. Lucia, I want to check on her. He cleared his throat. Sorry. He cleared his throat. I want to know if she's okay. If that's okay with you. Lucia had been wondering what was on Kane's mind as he had been distant lately. She replied, I know you want to help, ooh, but you can't always play the hero. You will get hurt, Kane replied with, It's hard to hurt me. And then after that, a very long spicy scene between them happened. Like 3 freaking pages of a spicy scene. 3 pages. This whole chapter is just a very big and long spicy scene. And just like every other spicy scene in this goddamn book, it's just like every other spicy scene in this book. I'm trying to say. Actually, there's one difference. between this spicy scene and all of the others. Officer Kane, he actually does not insult his girlfriend. I know, and he hardly hurts her, hardly doesn't hurt her. And also, there is actually a little bit of love going on there. I know, I'm shocked. So basically, this freaking chapter is just three pages of a spicy time in deep details discussed. And when Officer Kane and his girlfriend are finally done doing them family-friendly spicy together, the phone rings. It's Olivia! Oh my god, so dramatic! Yes, okay, and that's the end of this chapter. Yes. Okay, everyone! Woohoo! Now it's time for chapter number 6. And I want all of you to go and grab your clown noses and holy water, because this freaking chapter is full of clownery and some sort of honkery. I'm not joking. This freaking chapter is such a freaking joke. Like, oh my god. Okay, so this chapter is very different from all of the other chapters because it seems like Mr. Onion was having some sort of like not rage when he was writing this chapter, because this chapter is so angry and aggressive. Like, oh my god, maybe like Chris Hansen was like knocking on the door. Meanwhile, you know, 0nision was writing this chapter because, like I said, he is so freaking angry! And also in this chapter right here, we get to know who Mr. Onion is in this book. Mr. Onion, he is so angry while he is writing this chapter that he accidentally lets it slip who he is in this book. And also a lot of personal stories will happen in this chapter. Okay, let's start. This chapter is called Chapter 6, The Visitor. And in my opinion, this chapter should be called Chapter 6, The Circus is in Town. Allison was cleaning her master's kitchen as he worked in his office. Although he was an employer, she preferred to refer to him as Master. Yikes. Allison was obsessed with being dominated by him in every way. Double yikes. There were many days when she would ask him to do special favors for her in place of pay for her day's work. Her employer, Justin, never would cut her pay, but always took her to the darkest places she desired when she begged enough. Wow, Mr. Onion, that's a very big yikes. I think I'm gonna wear my clown nose the whole time I'm reading this chapter because this is just getting worse. Many times when Allison wanted something, she would she would crawl over to him with a dog collar on her neck and a leash in her mouth. She would put her paws up, begging, and from that point she would often get whatever she wanted, like a good little So basically, Allison is Justin's maid, and her only job, literally, her only job is to clean his house. But Allison, she just can't. She can't resist Justin. She just worships him. She loves him because he is just such an amazing man. And often when she was cleaning his house, she would often ask him to do the spicy with him, and instead he didn't have to pay her for her day. Because he was just that big of a man. Honk, 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 honk. And also, Allison would often put dog collar on her neck and have the leash in her mouth, and of course, paws up. And that would make Justin want to do the spicy with her, and I don't know, this dog collar thing sounds very familiar. Mr. Onion. Okay, but let's keep going. And then Allison is doing the dishes in Justin's house. And then all of a sudden she hears a very weird sound coming from the window. And the sound is something like this. And Allison gets very scared. And she takes a look at the window and she sees that the whole window is covered in poop. So she calls Justin. Allison yelled, "Justin, can you come out here?" And stepped away from the window. Are you ready? Justin hesitated to come out as he was baiting to his obsession, domination. And after I read this, it's confirmed that this guy, Justin right here, is 0nision 100%. Like, I know that this character right here, Justin, is Mr. Onion in this book. Okay, let me just read this one more time. Allison yelled, Greg, can you come out here? And stepped away from the window. Greg hesitated to come out as he was embating to his obsession. Domination! She yelled again, Greg! Another slam sounded off towards the window. Allison could clearly see a Caucasian hand making contact with the window. Greg, there's a crazy white person outside, Allison shouted. And then, God bless you. Okay, and then Greg casually walks out of his office and takes a look out of the window. Beyond the poop smear, Greg could make out a green-haired, short, fat woman standing outside his house. This little, ratty woman wore a white poop-stained clothes. Greg laughed with a worried tone and said, Oh, that's Jennifer. You should call the police on her. She's my ex. Did you know this woman outside is obsessed with me? Ever since I told her I couldn't stand being around her anymore due to her obnoxious tendencies, she made me her new obsession. Apparently, she dyed her hair green since. Wow, Mr. Onion! This sounds very similar to your personal life, my friend. Where is my clown nose? Wait. Ay, Dula, Rusina. Honk. Yeah. And also, this woman right here, we are not supposed to like her and we are supposed to be disgusted by her. And, of course, Mr. Onion says that she is fat. Because, like we all know, Mr. Onion, he doesn't really like plus-sized people for some weird reason. And then a rock came flying through the window and crashing the window. And then Mr. Gregory, he gets a very good idea. Greg looks Allison in the eyes and Allison is like, oh, I know what is going to happen. And then Greg takes Allison, pushes her face against the window so her face is like smashed like this against the window. And then he rips her clothes off and then she looks Jennifer straight in the eyes and Jennifer is like standing right in front of the house and she's like, oh! And then, of course, Greg starts to do the spicy with Allison right in front of Jennifer. Where's the holy water? Yes, I'm not joking. And of course, Greg is doing the spicy with Allison very aggressively and he is insulting her, like hurting her and just treating her like she is his toy, you know what I mean? And Allison is like, yes, I love you, master. Pause up. And then Jennifer is watching them doing the spicy. Jennifer screamed, what are you doing, Greg? I love you. Why are you hurting me? Allison looked up at Jennifer's tear-filled eyes and smiled, awkward as ever, with her face still smeared against the window. Allison knew she was being used as a weapon, and she was there in that moment to cause a crazy insulting, to understand that it was over, and it was time to get the freak out of Greg's life. And of course, this spicy scene is very detailed and this spicy scene is so aggressive and it's so obvious that Greg, like Greg in real life, is so angry when he's writing this. He's like, oh, like Greg in the book, he's just like yelling insults at Jennifer, like, oh. So it's so obvious that Greg in real life was so angry at his ex-girlfriends. And something was happening. Like I said, Chris Hansen was maybe knocking on the door and Greg was like, oh, stupid ex-girlfriends. Oh. He was like this. And then meanwhile, Kai and the kids were crying in the other room. And then all of the ex-girlfriends were like teaming up against Greg. And Greg was just like very angrily writing this chapter and just like insulting the ex-girlfriends because seriously, like meanwhile Greg and Allison are doing the spicy, he's just yelling insults at Jennifer like, oh, stupid ex-girlfriend, you're blah, and then very insulting, you know what I mean? Honk 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 honk. Yes. So like I said, Greg and Allison are doing the spicy and then Jennifer yelled while sobbing, you're supposed to be my freaking soulmate, Greg! You're a monster! You're worse than any guy I've ever dated! And I've been beaten so bad I was put in the hospital. I don't know about you, but this sounds very similar to the Billy situation that happened a few years ago. Because Billy said to Onision that he is the worst guy that she has ever dated. And I don't want to say more about that, but I'm sure that for all of you that know the situation, you know what I'm talking about. You're worse than any guy I've ever dated, and I've beaten so bad I was put in the hospital. Greg laughed and replied, screaming proudly. Whoa, he beat you? What did you do? Rub his toes in the wrong freaking order? You freaking poor innocent saint. Epic moment is not gonna happen. Allison interrupted, pausing Greg's freaking, hey, not cool, Greg. And what? This is the dumbest thing ever. So basically, like you can see, Jennifer, she was yelling like, oh my god, you're worse than any guy I've ever dated, and I've been beating very badly. And then Greg says, oh, did you rub the toes in the wrong order? Haha. But Greg, when he was writing this book, he knew that this joke was kind of like harmful, you know what I mean? Like, you cannot just make fun of people that just got beaten in a relationship, and Greg is like, oh, I want to tell this very funny joke that Greg answers like, hey, did you rub his toes in the wrong order? But that's like not very nice. Oh, I know, I will make Allison be like the one that is like acknowledging that Greg is saying something harmful, and she is gonna turn around while they're doing the spicy and say, hey, not cool, Greg. Allison interrupted, pausing Greg's freaking, hey, not cool, Greg. Greg looked at Allison and nodded with a smirk. He's like proud of Allison for like acknowledging that his joke was not very nice. It was very mean that he was making fun of Jennifer being beaten. So he's like, oh, Allison, oh, yes, you are right. This joke was not very cool of me. Greg spoke again while continuing to frick Allison. He didn't beat you as bad. I'm beating Allison's right now. Allison wanted to object how insensitive what he said was to abuse victims, but couldn't help it but burst out laughing. So another Hong Kong clown moment right here. So Greg, he made fun of Jennifer being beaten, and he was like, oh, I am beating Allison's right now. And I love it how Mr. Onion wrote like, oh, Allison knew how insensitive this joke was to abuse victims. So it's actually okay that Gregory here is writing a joke that is kind of insensitive because he is acknowledging it. Was this good English? Because he's acknowledging. And then the spicy is finally over. And then as Justin and Allison recovered, they glanced outside to see Jennifer was foaming at the mouth. Yikes. Greg spoke calmly in an amusement manner. Oh, foam, that's impressive. He looked at Allison confidently and said, you know, Allison, I only dated her a couple weeks, if you could even call it dating. That was like 7 years ago. Yeah, sounds very similar to your personal life, Mr. Onion. Then Jennifer runs away from the house. And Greg starts to tell Allison more about Jennifer. And Greg said, yeah, she pretended to have a stroke on her first date because I tried to leave before the entry. Total nut job. And then Allison is like, oh, ooh, I love you, daddy. Pause up. Ooh, I wanna please you. And Greg is like, ha, I think I love this girl. And that's the end of this chapter. And that's actually the end of the book for now! Woohoo! Because Mr. Onion, he hasn't written more chapters than this. Yes. Hong Kong, Hong Kong, Hong Kong, Hong! So, now we are done reading Onision's 4th book. And like all of you know, Mr. Onion, he has only... My doggo is eating the holy water. So now we are done reading Onision's 4th book. And like all of you know, Mr. Onion, he has only written 6 chapters in this book. So Mr. Onion is probably going to publish the rest of the chapters in the upcoming weeks. And am I excited to know how the book ends? No, I'm not, to be honest. Yes, so I have absolutely nothing more to say about this goddamn book. And if you, please, you go ahead and comment down below what you think about this book. So now I'm going to take a very long bath using only holy water to bath myself. And I hope I did not ruin your day too much. And I actually have a suggestion for you. I think it would be a great idea if you watch some cozy Iceland videos to calm yourself down. And you can check out this channel right here because my mom made this channel. Yes, my mom wants to become a YouTuber. And she is posting very cozy Iceland videos where she is walking around beautiful places here in Ice Cream Land. So go ahead and check it out if you want to. But yes, I hope all of you will have a nice day today and I will see you later. Bye. So, Loki, hvað að? Hvað? Hey, oh my god, I think my doggo knows how traumatizing this chapter is and how traumatized I am that he's trying to make me